Hello everybody, the sun is setting. I think you can still see me in this. I think it's still working. And I thought I'd say hi, as I hadn't seen you in a while. But the most important thing to say is that there's been an upgrade, a big change that has happened since the last time we spoke. First of all, the one big change is that we've hit 15 subscribers, so this will go down as the 15 subscriber special. Thank you very much for all your help in that. But one of the more important things that we had to figure out was a car. And thanks to all your support, I have been able to buy my dream car, a Suzuki Swift. Look at it right there, boom, Swift. Named after maybe my favourite singer of all time. Maybe, probably not. But we've done it, we've finally bought a car. As I've been saying all the time, a car is so important here. It is needed. Even though the public transport is half decent, it's not great, but it's half decent, you do need a car. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Me and the dream machine together at last. Now, it's a lovely red. I'm a big fan of the colour red. Some would say it's my favourite colour. I would say it's probably my favourite colour. I've never had a red car before though, so I'm usually blue or grey. That's what I've had before. But this time we've gone red. Now, I've given it a slight clean. A slight clean, I will say. It could be a little bit better. The windscreen needed a bit of a wipe down, which I did do. But then I realised that on the inside it smudged as well after I'd cleaned the outside. So that was a bit annoying to figure out. But now that I have this, I think it's right that I should take care of it as best I can. Now, it's a slightly old model, 2015, I believe. But it does the job, and I think most importantly, you know, it's a very advanced car for its age. We'll block the number plate, but it has the little camera here, the reversing camera. Isn't that great? Isn't that just showing us where technology's going? It's unbelievable. You absolutely love to see things like that. And you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to take you inside the car. Oh my word, I thought that would be a smooth transition. It wasn't. Okay, everything has been fixed, solved, apart from me nearly choking on something there. I don't know what it is. The lighting is not the best right now. Maybe if I turn this on, if I can figure out how to turn it on. I'm not sure that's any better. So I know for those who do subscribe, and if you've made it this far, thank you. And you'd like to see more like this, please subscribe. I will try and upload as much as I can. But we're inside now. Look, inside, it's just a car. There's 3 seats in the back, 2 seats in the front, one for me and all my friends. It's quite nice inside though. If I spin this around, there we go. Or that might be a bit retro for you there, you know, not everything's digitized, but we do have the JVC screen right there. We have some USB cables, ports as well. God, we can plug everything in. There's a glove box. This just has it all. It has everything. And I know you guys might be saying, you know, Why are you flexing on us so hard? Why are you trying to make us feel bad about ourselves? I'm not. What I'm trying to do is show you how far we've come since we've started this a couple weeks ago. Show you how far all of us, have come on this journey together to go from 0 to 15 subscribers. Oh, I was just excited just then. I almost dropped the camera. And again, almost dropped it again. I'm just so excited. I just love it. I just love it so much. But I think as well, maybe being a bit more serious, it is just very, very important to have a car here. I've, lived in London for the last couple of years and I haven't needed a car at all, which I have enjoyed. I don't mind taking the bus. I don't mind taking the train. But when I say I don't mind taking the bus, I don't like to take the bus. I'd say, if I'm going to rank my public transport options, I would say train and underground train, metro, tube. That's the best. That's number one. Then it would have to be a tram. Number two. Then a bus. Number three. I'm trying to think what all the options are. I never really take a ferry anywhere. I did occasionally take the Uber boat in London, but it was crazy expensive and it didn't really run frequently. But I do know that you can take the ferries here. There's a lot of ferries in Auckland, which I probably need to check out at some point as well. Maybe that will be one of my next adventures. Because right now, I haven't really got anything planned to do. I'm kind of just seeing what happens, then whipping the camera out and seeing if I can record there, which is why I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. So I'm really sorry to all my subscribers that I've been letting down lately. I know that you are desperate to see everything that I have going on, but I'm just working loads at the moment. I think that's just part of the issue there. I wouldn't say working is an issue. I enjoy working, but it's an issue with uploading this sweet content for all of you. Now, as I was saying, the public transport here in Auckland, at least, I don't know what it is like in other New Zealand cities. In Auckland, it's half decent, but a car is very important. I mean, for example, I went to the football yesterday, the Auckland FC game, which I just forgot to film anything at, but it was quite nice. The train to and from there isn't that bad. It's pretty easy to figure out. But if the trains aren't working, the buses are pretty unreliable around Mount Smart Stadium. So it's probably not worth doing that. You'd be better to drive or take a taxi. But general day-to-day, moving around the city, yes, the trains work fairly well and you can go into the CBD fairly easily on the trains. The buses are fairly regular, but it's a city that's built for cars. It's, I feel like it's most of the New World where everything's kind of built around the car. And it does almost make you feel like you take the public transport, in London for granted. I'm English. I love to complain about things. It's a national pastime. And yes, whilst you're in London, you can complain about the tube and the buses and everything else. But it is really good there. And then once it's gone, you miss it. You miss it dearly. But we're here in our Suzuki Swift now. I'm not going to drive it now because it's pretty late. But even though it's a Sunday night, I'm sure we can find some really fun activities to do. I actually have one thing I want to talk to you about, and I think it might be quite important for some people. The doctor. Yes, the doctors. And you might be thinking, what a boring subject to be talking about. Why would you want to speak to us about that? I know all your stuff's really high octane, high energy, really aggressive things that you're always doing. Well, doctors are important because your health is important and you need to look after yourselves. And that's what I'm here to help you do. I'm here to tell you how to look after yourselves. Obviously, not everywhere is the same as the UK when it comes to health, because pretty sure nowhere else has a system similar to the NHS. If you sign up for a GP and you go to an appointment, you're probably going to have to pay for it, which I haven't done yet, because as I will get into, it's been a bit of a struggle to find a doctor. But yes, not everything's free. The A&E, I believe, is free if you go in there for a serious injury, but the ambulance isn't free. That's another thing. It's a charity. Not free. Obviously, in certain circumstances, it is free, but overall, it is not free. But they do provide a very good service. And then also, I'm talking about most of the country. I know in Wellington, they have Wellington free ambulance. I don't know how that works because I'm in Auckland. If anyone in Wellington wants to tell me how Wellington free ambulance works, if it's a similar service to St John, that's the name of the ambulance service here, if it's a similar service down there to that, then yeah, you have to pay. But Wellington free ambulance, it makes you think it's free, right? I don't know, I should probably looked into that before bringing it up. Anyway, back to GPs. Now, I've just wanted to sign up to a GP because I think that's a pretty normal thing to want to do. I think it's a pretty simple thing to want to do. I know when I was living in London, and now I'm just going off of my experience, and I'm not trying to say that this is everyone's experience, because I'm sure it isn't, but for my experience, it was pretty simple signing up with the GP. You would just put in your postcode, they would show you GPs in the area that you could sign up with, you'd choose one, and you put your details down with them, and then you could just sign up with them. If I'm remembering right, that's how it worked. Fairly simple. Yes, I did struggle to have appointments sometimes if I needed to have appointments. They messed around. Yeah, there was one time they told me I had an in-person appointment, then I showed up, and then they said no, it's over the phones. Then I had to go home, and then that appointment was delayed by an hour, the over the phone appointment. I don't know how that makes sense, but it's what happened. Anyway, I have had trouble signing up to a GP in New Zealand, in Auckland, in the part of Auckland I'm in. There's 2 GPs that are pretty close to me, and both of them have said they're not accepting new patients. Now, I know some GPs can give you appointments if you're not signed up to them. These ones, I could not. I was looking on their website. They have so many open appointments, but you have to be signed up with them. Which, I just think, if I do want an appointment, I have to pay you, and you're a business, so why wouldn't you want to take my money? Obviously, I'm sure that there's something much more complex there than I'm aware of. But I would think they're businesses and they would want to take my money. That's what I would think. But what do I know? So anyway, I've had to go to somewhere a bit further out that does, walk-in appointments. And even so, because they've been closed over the weekend, I haven't been able to be properly signed up with them. It's not an automatic system. I guess they have to look through it all. It is what it is with that. It's just, it's very frustrating. However, it looks like if I can sign up with somewhere, if that does eventually happen, then it seems like booking an appointment is easy enough. When it comes to prescriptions or anything like that, I don't know how that works, but I think as long as you're signed up somewhere, you'll be fine. It has been frustrating to consistently see that GPs around you aren't accepting new patients. Again, I don't understand how that works. If you're a business, I would have thought you'd want as many people to give you their money as possible, but they clearly don't operate like that out here. So when I'm fully signed up, then I might make another video about how the whole process works. But it's pretty simple with signing up to these places. I think it's just as simple as back in the UK. I had to prove my residency though. So I had to take a picture of my passport. I think you can take a picture of your driver's license, which is something else that I have also recently achieved. I finally have a New Zealand driver's license, and because I have a British license, we've spoken about this in a previous video. If you want to check out my previous videos, there's plenty of them, so you can go and see that. In fact, maybe I'll link it. I just need to remember which one it was that I spoke about that in. Anyway, that was a really easy process to switch my driver's license over from British to New Zealand. You just go to one of the centres where they can give you a little test, and if you fill in the forms beforehand, it's so much quicker. You just hand them over, and that's basically all done. You do need photocopies of your license and passport, your current license, before switching it over to a New Zealand one, which I think if I hadn't brought some with me, they would have charged me for the photocopies. The photocopies I gave them were on an A4 piece of paper, but the photocopy itself was the size of the license, and they like it to kind of cover the whole A4 page and still be legible. So they ended up doing that for me because I brought my photocopies in. Then you do an eye test, and if you drive with glasses on, you can keep your glasses on. Then they take your picture. The place I went to did not let me see my picture, so they chose it for me. I was pretty happy with it. It was a fine picture. You know, you just look in the lens like this. But I didn't look like that. I think you can smile. I think you're allowed to smile in your license picture. I think when I applied for my British one, I wasn't allowed to smile in the picture, but I have a feeling you might be allowed to smile in them here. I don't know, don't quote me on that. But it was pretty easy. They gave me a temporary license after that. They also let you keep your original license as well, you know, your British or whatever other country you might be looking to transfer from. They let you keep that license. And then they said 10 working days. I think it took a week and a half, which is 10 actual days. They were fairly quick with it. Again, I'm in Auckland, so I think it might be a bit faster than that in other places. But again, I don't know. I can't speak for other people's experiences in other places. That was one of the smoother experiences I've had here in terms of admin. But in doing that, I have actually completed all the tasks that I set out to complete before coming out here. In fact, let me tell you the tasks I wanted to complete. Let me see. There we go. Well, one of them was to quit my job before coming out to New Zealand, so that was the first thing I did. Be on the flight. That was easy enough. Bank account, which I've spoken about in a separate video. You can sign up for a bank account before coming out to New Zealand. It might cause you some other issues if you don't have housing or a job sorted straight away, but you can do it. I went with BNZ because it was the easiest one to set up while abroad, but I know Westpac and ANZ, I think they all offer similar services, but BNZ was the easiest for me anyway. So it might be the easiest for you, especially if you're coming over from the UK. Obviously, my issue is a bit different because I am a New Zealand citizen, but I just never lived in New Zealand. So it was slightly different. Anyway, bank account sorted out. Having a New Zealand number and a proof of address. Proof of address is hard when you just show up and you don't have an address, right? Because my proof of address for my bank account was my UK address. And I guess with that, it's fine, but on all your statements, it will be a UK address. It's not going to be a New Zealand address. Now, they did change because it just seemed like after a while they just let you change. I just went on the banking app and I can change it to where I'm staying. So that was easy enough. But yeah, unless you have somewhere to stay straight away, I don't think it's that easy. And having a phone number, easy enough. You can just go anywhere. I think you can just buy them in the airport as soon as you're coming out. So that isn't too bad. Buying a car, we've done that. Guys, we've done it. We've done it. With help from elsewhere, we've done that. And then being in touch with the tax man, that was annoying, and I've spoken about that before. I think that was in my first video. I spoke about the issues I had there because it takes so long. You do seem to have to work through a lot more private companies with that sort of stuff. I had to verify my identity with the AA. I thought that was roadside assistance. It's not. They do insurance and all of that, and loads of other stuff here. But I had to do that to finally have a tax number. If you can sort out your tax number before coming out here, do it. Because it's so slow otherwise. And you want to be paid. Because they won't pay you if you can't pay tax. That's a key factor. Then, with changing my license, I think I could have done that through the AA as well, but there was another place called VTNZ, which I'm not sure if that is a government thing or a private thing. But either way, I had to pay a chunk of change. It wasn't too bad. I think it was... I can't remember what it was. You know what? I'm going to put it on screen right here. This is how much it cost to change my license or to have a New Zealand license. There you go. It's gone. You'll never see that again. But that wasn't too bad. So, as always, everyone, I'll probably end it there. If you want me to talk about anything else whilst I'm out here, then please do let me know. If there's anything that you think I should see, let me know because I'll do it. I think I'm running out of things to do in Auckland. It's not the biggest city in the world, but there is still plenty to see. If there's any advice that you need that I can tell you about from my experiences, I'm more than happy to do that because I am learning a lot. There is a lot you need to figure out before coming here. I've been here about 3 months now and I think I've sorted everything out. But even so, I'm sure there's plenty more I can figure out there. But if you enjoyed today's video, and if you love red Suzuki Swifts, if you love them, give this video a like, drop a subscribe if you want, comment anything else you want to see, and I will see you in the next video.